Can you lead us in?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for coming. Roll call.
Mayor Morris,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Green is absent. Alderman Robertus.
Here.
Alderman Madre.
Here.
Alderman Jones.
Here.
Alderman Hall.
Here.
City Administrator is in attendance, no city secretary.
Public comments?
Yes, Mayor, we do. Jay Aubin would be the first. Okay.
Oh, you got it there, okay.
Excuse me for my little, anyway. Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, you too, Taz. It's been quite a while since I stood here last, and I will forego my usual comments about the city doing this and imploring you all to use your microphones. That's old and done. I've got something else to address you with today, and if I can get you, Brad, to please pass these around.
Yes.
Okay. As you can see from that top, yes, I'm going to address paid beach parking. And Mr. Mayor, I just may be exceeding my 3-minute time limit today, so whenever you're ready, you heard enough of me, just shut me down. But briefly, what I'll say here is, once accepted by the city, an initial payment is made. Yeah, I'll take that one. And an initial payment is made, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Then I'm ready to go with this within a month's time. This will take also limitations from GLO and some other things, but basically I can be ready to go with this and implement it and get it done very quickly. So I need to also inject something right here. I think most of you know Taz and I are close, so to speak. But you just need to know that what I'm proposing here in no way, form, or fashion uses her office as Alderman of Jamaica Beach, nor does she gain financial in any way from the use of her office. She knows a little bit more about this other than the fact that I plan to present this today. And what I'm proposing is a turnkey solution, at least as turnkey as I'm able to, for the city to consider. My goal is to limit the city's involvement in this as little as possible. Now, the first page after your header page is just a suggestion for signage. This is going on your phone. Now, as far as any signage goes, wording goes, or any of this stuff, I don't want to get into the minutia of all this, because this will be subject to discussion and, of course, approval or disapproval, whatever. I also don't want to get into the rates or fee structure right now, because this is all subject to whatever. So that we're going to have an opening sign, and what I'm suggesting on the opening sign, probably 4 or 5 or 6 signs placed well in advance of the parker when he gets in there. Both entrances to the beach. I suspect they'll be 3 foot tall, 2 foot wide, something that gives it ample knowledge that they're going to be paying something once they pass this point. Now, this page that you're seeing here is what I'm planning to put on all of the bollards that you have there. Now, all of this signage, first again, another thing. I will be taking care of this signage. Once it's all discussed, approved, the signage I will install and maintain. Now, these all have to be discussed. As far as the bollards, certainly. One more minute? Okay. The next page you see is the app that people are gonna be able to download as the instructions state. And on that first upper left, in the bottom right of that one, you'll see what is the Jamaica Beach parking lot app. The user will tap on that, and then his first screen he sees will be on the top right, something similar anyway. Basically, it's just description, let him enter his vehicle license plate number, and then we continue from there. Next page will be select the payment. The payment is going to be selected by him, and then he'll continue on. I didn't bother to depict any of the other ones on here, because basically it's just credit card information verification. Once selected, he can enter this, or it goes into the database. So the user is done at that point. Now I can go on and on about that, but the next picture you see is a little lousy picture, but turn it sideways. And what this is a depiction of an idea that I'm coming up with, working on pricing for. This is a combination, porta potty system and garbage. We can discuss all that stuff. So, I think for the last page, that'll give a breakdown of some of the fees you might expect that will be generated by this.
Thank you very much, sir. Very interesting, thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll be gone.
Anyone else?
Yes, sir. Bob Friedman.
Hi, I'm Bob Friedman. I came to really talk to y'all about the ongoing and severe rainfall drainage problem that exists over on Beachcomber Road, over in the Beachcomber section. It is a serious problem that just won't go away. In the past, what the city had done would be to run like a bobcat or something through there and just let it, the slope of Beachcomber Drive, which is the drainage conduit, let that work itself into the Gulf. And that would work. We could do that, you could do that tomorrow. But really, I think y'all need to look at a more permanent solution to this. I came in last night, I couldn't even park at my house, I had to park at a neighbor's. I can't tell you what to come up with as a solution, but you're gonna be building this new surface road for Beachcomber, and I know that's coming, September or somewhere in the fall. And you must have a drainage solution to coincide with that. And if you do that, that will be all that I ask for. Meanwhile, if you could get someone to just get a bobcat to run through the east side of it and get the drainage to let itself work, that would take care of the problem temporarily. But I don't know whether y'all are gonna come up with a solution of pumps that automatically start up when a catch basin fills up at the end of the road, or you come up with some other clever solution to this. But I will tell you this, I went over to Pirates Beach to see what they were doing. They have a whole bunch of roads, 10 or 12 of them, that just dead end into the Gulf, kind of like Beachcomber. And all of them basically just made a little conduit. Some of them had cement what you call them, but just cement drains, and the water went through them at the end of the road down into the beach. And that was as complicated as what the city of Galveston did for them. But we've got to come up with something. It's really a problem, the mosquito problem, the snake problem, you know, just misery. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Debra Tabbert.
Tabbert. I have a handout too. I have pictures of Beachcomber. Debra Tabbert, 16916 Beachcomber. I have a few more things to add to what Mr. Friedman has to say. I moved here in 2010, and the people in Beachcomber have been public works since the moment I moved in. We have, the only assistance we have had from the city of Jamaica Beach is Russell coming down with the backhoe and tearing out the dune so it will drain. And we are not in a situation where we have aging drainage or drainage that needs to be repaired. We have no infrastructure. And I don't know who has been over. I know Russell, you know what the situation is. Taz came by today and looked at it. But we just can't keep doing this with no solution in the future. And in the fall, when we had all the storms, I worked with Sean. We went and bought a pump. The neighborhood went and bought a pump because we were underwater and there was no solution. It wasn't gonna go anywhere. And our situation is different than Bayside because y'all rise and flow with tides. It's got somewhere to go. It's got nowhere to go over there. And we shouldn't have to choose between the protection of a dune and having drainage. We need drainage, and we deserve the city to look at this situation and come up with a solution. We cannot continue as citizens to get out with shovels and pumps and do this. One of my neighbors in May spent 9 days pumping. One day he spent 16 hours, and we have to fill the gas up every 2 hours. We came down this week with our family. My husband has spent 3 days pumping because Bob was in North Dallas. And so far, we're getting the water out of our neighborhood. But this is a short-term solution. And the city paid for the pump, okay? When we purchased the pump back in the fall, are you surprised, Russell? Did you not know that?
I didn't know the city.
Okay. Yeah, we purchased the pump in the fall when the tropical storms came in, and I approached Sean at that time, and he paid for the pump. And I reimbursed everybody in our neighborhood for the pump. And there is an email on file, I have it, that we sent the model number, the receipt, everything to Sean, and there are 3 people who have access to the pump. And there's emails, phone numbers, so for the city to contact those people. And nobody from the city ever contacts us to help us with pumping. It's been left up to us. And it's just time for a change. I mean, I'm not sure how long we are expected to be public works. And Beachcomber's down there on the other end of the city, and I gotta tell you, we're just the bastard stepchildren of Jamaica Beach, and everybody down there is tired of it. And I don't know what you expect us to do. If you won't come up with a solution to help us, what are we supposed to do? And knocking down the dunes only creates an additional problem for the police department. And Brad, you are well aware of that situation, because when you tear the dunes down, then it becomes a vehicle entrance to the beach. And we've got trucks, we've got golf carts, we've got everything that go through there. Now, the pedestrian beach on the weekend, that has helped considerably cutting down vehicle traffic coming through Beachcomber to get to the beach. That's a positive thing that has happened. But if you, and I understand what Brock Friedman is saying, because he did come in, and my husband had been pumping, but we hadn't been able to get it all out. And, you know, but tearing down our dunes is not the solution. It is just not the solution. And I am afraid the GLO wouldn't be real happy about tearing down the dunes. I know that there are 2 entrances, sanctioned entrances to the beach from 3005. And you are allowed to maintain those, and I appreciate what you do, Russell, and whoever else that manages to keep that entrance open down there. But we can't have an entrance coming through over the dunes. It's not an entrance, and I don't think the GLO would be real happy about the fact that, you know, you knock the dunes down and then cars drive over it. Nobody's happy about that.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. for
Ginger
your
Jones.
comments. Huh?
We have Ginger Jones.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Ginger.
Let me get the camera set. Ginger Jones, 16612 Curlew. Mine is very minor compared to all of these, but I'd like to see whoever's doing the city work in the way of trimming trees and stuff. On Flamingo, they trimmed the low trees and the oleanders, but the other tree is still just hanging there. And the same around the fishing park. The plants there, the oleanders died with the freeze. And now we do have 2 benches there after putting it together, but the trees need, the oleanders need to be taken out. I don't know if you want to put anything else there or what, but they just need to come out. So,
And that big tree needs to be trimmed.
yeah, the one on Flamingo. Double duty. Oh, I'm fine.
Add their name to the list. Too late.
Excuse me. No, you can go ahead.
Oh.
If you would.
Larry Bentall, 16630 Nassau Way. And this is the workshop, this is gonna be pretty quick. I drove down to Houston for what, 1 minute? I just wanna make sure in the goal setting that you include bringing back the topic of raising Jamaica Cove Road. And I don't know about 6 inches all the way, but I think a level elevation, kind of like what 305 is, so that there's always an evacuation level. So that's one thing. The other is the web design. I don't know what's going on. I understand somebody's been picked, but that's a good topic to let people look at, you know, sort of storyboard it, so we can understand what's going to change. We're going to spend some money, and a lot has changed from the old days of doing web design. So I asked that be transparent. And there's some other things, but those are the 2 key ones.
Thank you, Larry.
Anyone else? Mr. Mayor?
Okay, we're gonna get into general discussions. I wanna make a